Hello, beautiful seekers, and welcome to Moon Magic and our discussion around the Pisces full moon. This is one of my favorite full moons of the year. I tend to find this is a moon that can really get us tapped into some really deep wisdom. The moon in Pisces, this is far from superficial energy. This is energy that is looking at the big questions of our existence and how we connect to that and how we're feeling in our alignment and in our spiritual journey. And it's a very mystical full moon, just any given year, the full moon being illuminated here in Pisces during the middle of Virgo season. One of the big things about this full moon is that it is activating Virgo Pisces energy, which has so much to do with healing. Healing in the physical and how we show up in the world and our rituals and routines, and healing on the spiritual with how much we're feeling connected to our true selves, right? And true hidden selves working from a much more energetic place. So I find this just to be a very medicinal moon. I mean, depending on how you work with earth and water energy, this may be more in flow with you, or you may find this a little bit more intriguing. But this full moon in particular this year, 2020 is Pisces full moon, you know it's going to be good, right? A lot of times recently I've been noticing Uranus is getting involved in the moons, and this is no exception. The full moon is going to be sextiling Uranus in Taurus. They're both at 10 degrees, moon in Pisces, Uranus in Taurus, and they're having a beautiful conversation. Now, this is the one aspect that is exact for this moon, so it's going to be the shining bright light at the center of our conversation today. And I love this pairing of energy. I think in some ways it's a little bit uncommon. It's an unlikely alliance in some ways. You know, the moon is going to be having us tap into our deeper truth, coming to understanding about our relationships and our emotions, right? And Uranus and Taurus is over here like, how are we going to revolutionize our lives? How are we going to get tapped into the electrical revolution that is going on? But I think when they're in conversation, what came up for me as I sat with this moon, and I sat with this moon feeling through it for a few hours, just trying to feel through what the truest, most essential message that wanted to come through was. When they're in an alliance like this, they're wanting to spark creative imagination. And I think we can't underestimate the imaginative capacity to heal. Right? And to find soothing and warmth again. And I think it's so essential, right? While we often hear about, being escapist or not being a realist is causing problem, it can be detrimental to who you are in the world. There's the flip side to that, which is if you don't allow yourself enough time to dream and soothe into nurturing thoughts, you're constantly in survival mode, right? And I think with the innovative energy of Uranus and Taurus and the dreamy, spiritual, connective tissue energy of Pisces, these two working together are having us really take a moment to understand that our imagination and the time we give ourselves to allow for a flowering of dreams and visions and hopes and petitions that we may be having for how we want to see the world it's a beautiful place to find soul growth. And it's essential right now that we have moments where we can do that, where we can sit and we can imagine the world we want to live in. We can imagine the solutions that we want to see coming into our lives, that we can imagine the warmth and the love that we want to start expressing and receiving. I think this moon it's like hitting right on the nose of that. And I'm actually getting shivers as I'm talking about this. So we know we're onto a theme here. Uranus and Taurus, we are activating like the divine mother, Inanna, the divine cow, the divine earthly feminine to revolutionize our world, right? And both Pisces and Taurus, I think, want us to nurture into something deeper, richer, and more profound. So these are really supportive energies. This moon is full of this visionary energy. And along with that imaginative, curious, innovative, kind of playful energy that these two are having with their sextile, they're also saying, our solutions don't always come from that obvious source, that obvious thing where you have your eye on the prize and you say, that's how I need it to work out. That's how it has to go down. There is no other way. They're tapping into the flexibility and the relaxation that comes with knowing that there are many, many ways for us to come to new understanding, come to new answers, come to new solutions, and that we don't have to get rigid. And that is leading me into another note to keep in mind to contextualize this moon. This is not something that I think is specific to this moon, because it's going on for a couple of months, which is that Mars in Aries is squaring Saturn in Capricorn. These two, that started in August, started in mid-August and will go until mid-October, basically. These two are going to be in this square conversation this whole time. So it's not specific to the Pisces full moon, because we're having this conversation in the background this whole time. But I will say that, there is this squaring off about willpower, about where we feel we have to have control, where we feel we want to get things done, make things happen. In some ways, having Mars and Saturn squaring off challenges everything we are familiar with when it comes to this is how I get things done. And that is in the background of this moon. Also keeping in mind that when this full moon is happening, we are about a week away from Mars stationing retrograde. And you're going to be noticing that slower Mars movement. As Mars works towards stationing, he has been slowing down consistently leading up to this full moon. Will continue to slow down and is not going to be moving very fast all of September, retrograde or otherwise. So this is a slowdown in that willpower, forcing things to happen modality. And it is forcing our hand a little bit. This moon is forcing us to be more in that trust and faith mode, which I think, sometimes when you hear people say that, like, just have trust, just have faith, just relax into it, it can sound really careless, right? It can come off as kind of like, what happens to the world if we don't care, if we don't forge forward, if we don't fight, right? And there is a place and there is importance in showing up and taking action, 100%. So when I'm talking about relaxing into your dreams, into your visions, into your imagination, allowing for there to be a lot of different avenues through which to get your clarity in life and to get the solutions you want in your life to come about, I just mean that this is just one part of the process, right? And it's an important one to tend to. It's an important one to tap into consistently, and this full moon is giving a huge boost to that energy. That tapping in and that finding some soothing, finding some peace, resetting your nervous system, right? Allowing for some more of that divine flow and that softness and that care to come into your body and into your soul and into your vibrational field is so helpful in anything else you're wanting to make happen, go out in the world and do. And as I'm talking about this square and about Mars, the rest of 2020, we're going to be noticing we are working with Mars and Aries. We are healing where we feel that forced, I have to get this done thing. We're going to keep working with that the rest of this year. So the more that you can welcome in the wisdom of this moon and take it with you moving forward, you'll find that you're in a better conversation with this year, the rest of this year. And you're in more of a place where you understand what's coming at you a little bit more. So there's deep wisdom in this moon, and it can really set you up, honestly, for the next couple of months. So I'm going to be enjoying this moon. I think I really am. Queen of Pentacles. Let's pull 3 cards today. I don't know why 3. It just seems right. Queen of Pentacles, we are in Virgo season. And this is a season of devotion. This is a season of divine goddess energy. In the northern hemisphere, this is a season of harvest. In the southern hemisphere, this is a season of rebirth, right? Regeneration. This is a powerful time of year. Three of Pentacles. Lots of grounded energy. And Virgo energy does want us to figure out how to be in this world, be in our bodies, be in our day-to-day in a meaningful, deep way. And that's why I think this moon is so powerful. We tap into our imagination. We can bring that wisdom back down here to the earth and move through the world with that intention and temperance. Okay. Let's talk through this. I love these cards. You notice the theme of peace riding through all three of these. There is a calm, there is a collectedness, there is almost a watching, observing energy going on here, right? And it's not that it's not interactive. Three of Pentacles and Temperance are extremely creative, dynamic energies, right? They're about making something new from disparate parts, each in their own way, one through teamwork and one through divine alchemy and healing and rebalancing. And, you know, speaking of that Mars-Saturn square, Temperance is often about where we put a little too much heat on something and we end up burning ourselves. We put a little too much pressure on something and we snap it. And to remember that in order to create something new, it's okay to release some of that heat and that pressure. This is about finding a divine new combination of ways forward. And with Uranus being involved here, Uranus always wants to bring us new ways of problem solving, new ways of moving forward that we have not put in our calendar, that we have not put in our diary and said, this is how it's going to go. That is a huge part of this energy. The immutable moon is going to be asking you to be fluid. It's going to be asking you to be like the ocean, you know, ever present and yet malleable. And the Queen of Pentacles, Three of Pentacles here is speaking to take care of your body. Take care of your body, slow down, soothe in, nurture your relationships, nurture your conversations. Anything around this full moon that you're wanting to kind of get clear on, understand. What I'm seeing here is take it as a whole ritual process. Take your time working through it, being curious about it, anchoring in, hearing another person's viewpoint maybe, you know, if you're having, you know, a relationship where you want to understand your partner more, your friend more, or your colleague more, and you're wanting to create and build something new, this moon is asking not for a rushed, quick, agitated answer. There's no need for that in this moon. That's part of the reminder. There's no need for us to get quick and agitated. We don't need to do that. And this is actually even one of my favorite things about Mars slowing down and Mars going into retrograde. You know, you can kick and scream a fight against that energy and say, no, no, no. But I find it such a relief to not have that we have to push weighing on us. What happens when we release that a little bit? What actions do we take from a space that doesn't feel like we have to be in battle mode, that we have to be in fighting mode, you know, fighting for our survival, fighting for who we are in the world. When we take that mantle off a little bit and we listen in, we find there's some divine alchemy at work here. And that's just what this moon wants to give us. It wants to give us a moment of peace and nurturing and alchemy during a time that is full of tumult and full of worthwhile fights, right? And that's another thing I want to say here. That I'm not saying let's all just sit around in a circle and pray away our issues and become detached from the world as it is. There are worthwhile things to fight for. There are worthwhile things to use that Martian energy for, to use that Saturnian energy for, to make this world a better place. And it is worthwhile to show up at those tables. But all I'm saying for this moon, I just want to make this clear, is that it's also worthwhile to show up at the table of your heart, of your soul, and just tap in as regularly as you can. And this full moon is all about the soothing. I love it. I'm so excited for this full moon. It can be really advantageous, quite a positive moon, even with some of the other squaring and aspects going on, including Mars and Saturn squaring. Cancer is also, Venus is also squaring Mars as well in Cancer. So there's some dialogues going on in the background during this moon, but just stay focused on that Piscean beauty and that Virgo beauty, and let Uranus surprise you. I am going to be going deeper on this full moon over on Patreon. We're going to be doing some activations, some questions, all of those good things if you're interested in joining me. And next week, or in the, whenever you're watching this, by September, we are going to be getting into our Mars retrograde talks over on Patreon, where I'm going to start getting us more incorporated in how to work with Mars retrograde and not just feel like, what do you do with this big, long, iconic transit, So if you're looking for more guidance there, I'd love to see you over with me on Patreon. Those of you who are with me, thank you so much. And thank you for being here today in our discussion around the Pisces full moon. I'm really excited to see what it brings up. And I will talk to you all very soon. Have a beautiful and blessed full moon.